let's get started with workflow, SharePoint 2013, designer workflows, and let's take a look at a workflow in which I'm going to start using some conditions. And this workflow is going to be log to history only Lamborghini car details. So which is depending on what the user enters, depending on the car that the user enters, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and start writing down if conditions now. So far we have been doing without the if conditions. Okay, so now we need to understand for the most part how the if condition works. So we're going to see, so the user is going to enter cars in the list, and the workflow is going to check if this car is a Lamborghini. If it's a Lamborghini, it's going to go ahead and write down to the history list that, hey, you know what, the user just entered a Lamborghini. Okay, so let's go ahead and start developing this workflow. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new list by the name cars. Okay, and it's going to be there. Let's open up the cars list. Let's edit the list columns. And let's add new columns to it. Actually, one's good. But you know what? I'm going to add another one, which is going to be a choice. And this one's going to be Lamborghini. And then this is going to be okay. And let's get original default value, hit on OK. Rename this to car make. And this is going to be description. Okay, and this one's going to be column settings. That's a column type, which is good. And alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this. So I'm gonna make, so let's see, I'm gonna open up the list. So I just made the car make as choice as a required column. Right here, required that this column contains information. I hit on yes, and bada bing bada boom. And so here we have a required column. So pretty much all I want to do is that, the user enters Lamborghini over here. Okay, so actually I want to do a couple things over here. And before I do that, just let me fix this view. I want to have car make as the first. So it's going to be numero uno. Scroll down, hit on OK, and I get, so this is how I like it. Okay, this is how I want it to be. So which is good. So here's a couple things I want to do. When the user enters a car make, I want to go ahead and number one, to start with, log to history. If this is if it's a Lamborghini, then treat this customer with special respect. Okay, I don't have Honda, but if there's Honda, then I don't think the guy comes down to kind of like my level here. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to the SharePoint Designer, and then let's start working on workflows. Okay, so click on list workflow. Hold on, I clicked on F5. And then it's taking a second. So let's click on list workflow, and then it's going to be on cars, and it's going to be um, car workflow. Okay, just make it simple. Hit on OK. This is what I have here. So the first thing is that I need a condition. Okay, so I'm going to use the common condition if any value equal value. Okay, click on this and I get if value is equal to value, and the value over here is going to be fx. So which column am I comparing? Of course, let's make use of the current item. Yeah, and it's going to be the car make. Okay, so if car make is equal to Lamborghini, then write to log to history list. Okay, that please give attention to parking details. Okay, so something as basic as that. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this and hit on publish. Okay, hit on publish. Oh, you know what? There are errors. Okay, that's fine. Error in the workflow prevented it from functioning correctly. Click OK to save this. Okay, so what's the error? Yes, so I forgot adding the two actions. Yeah, yeah. So let's go ahead and change this to in progress. And let's go ahead and change this to completed. And then let's move this over to completed, and let's end the workflow here. And then before I do that, let me go ahead and fire the right triggers, which is this and this. Okay, hit on publish. Okay, so here we are. Click on lists, and let's go back to cars. Okay, hit on refresh, and I have my car workflow column added automatically. And now let's go ahead and click on new item, and let's enter BMW. Okay, hit on save, and okay, it's completed. So I click on completed, take a look at the workflow action, scroll down, and guess what? There's nothing, right? Okay, now let me go ahead and enter Lamborghinis. Hit on save, in progress, completed. Hit on completed, take a look at the status of completed, and let's see what we get. Please give utmost attention to parking details. Okay, so it's able to, to look at the condition and figure out, what kind of car is this. Okay, so now what I want to do is that I want to go back and add some more details to the workflow. Alright, man. So I want to further enhance this workflow, and then now here's the thing. Okay, so I want to add a little more details. Okay, so in here I want to go ahead and write down something more specific, which is, hey, this is an expensive car, or this is a foreign car. Please take care. Okay, and then but here's the thing: when it comes down to other cars, I want to do the same thing, but I want to go ahead and be able to log something about them in the history. So which means that I'm checking if it's a Lamborghini, do this. If it's not a Lamborghini, then do this. Okay, or if it's a BMW, then do this. So now I'm talking about conditions. Okay, so we need to understand how these conditions really work. Okay, so and that's where, and trust me, you get in any real world project, you always have to. There are always conditions. There are always conditions, right? So you need to understand how these if conditions work, and this is is how it's going to be. So you end up creating an if condition, and
How about if you could do it this way?
so let's go ahead and further improvise this list over here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and make this list for an oil change shop. Okay, so let's go ahead and modify the name to not cars but oil change. Okay, and now I'm just gonna add a couple more quick columns over here, which is going to be, yeah, it's going to be quick column, and it's going to be cost. Okay, oil oil change. Okay, cost. Okay, so it's going to be, yeah, currency. Okay, it sounds pretty good, or a number might be. Okay, and so okay, now I'm just gonna go back and then give the column a proper name, a proper caption. Oil change price. All right, so now, so what's gonna happen is depending on the car, there's going to be different oil prices. Okay, so which definitely complicates the whole thing. Okay, so let me go ahead and open up a Word document, and let me go ahead and write down what I want over here. Oil change for cars. Okay, so it's going to be if Lamborghini, then it's going to be, okay, now we're talking. And did you say $100 more?
Actually, yeah. Want you to do it this way. So if it's Lamborghini, the oil change.
Let's get them. Okay. Else if,
Now, if it's BMW, oil change, it should be $100.
Nissan.
$35.
Honda Fit.
and so let's go ahead and run this workflow. Let's make this workflow happen. So I'm gonna change this a little bit. Okay, so log to history list, that's okay, but you know what? I wanna log for everyone. Okay, so I wanna go ahead and move this action up and then change this to user. Okay, so I wanna make this a little dynamic, which is going to be user entered the car make. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start evaluating the price. Okay, so so if Lamborghini is equal to Lamborghini, then I think now I'm gonna go ahead and make use of variables. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Oil change price. Okay, and this is going to be a number. Hit on OK. Alright, so here I'm gonna go ahead and set if it's a Lamborghini, then let's go ahead and use the action, which is set work for variable, and the variable is oil change to the price $400. Okay, let's make it $399.99. How about that? Okay, it just sells better. Okay, so now I'm going to use the second workflow action, which is going to be if the car make is equal to BMW, then exactly the same thing again, which is going to be set workflow variable oil change price to $99.99. Oops. $99.99. Okay. again get the condition. So I'm going to be doing this as many times as there are conditions. Okay, car make is equal to Mercedes, and set variable, set workflow variable, oil change to 99.99. Okay, I can do that, right? So actually, so look at this. Okay, so I have, if the car make is equal to BMW, then it's 99.99, right? If the car make is equal to Mercedes, then it's 99.99. Okay, so isn't there any way that I can squeeze both of them in one single line?
Yes. How about can you do BMW and Mercedes?
Right. So something like that, right? So the way I would do that is go back up here, the orange line. You see that? Go back up here, and then I click on, again the same thing with the orange line right at the place where I want to add the AND condition. And so it's not going to be AND, it's going to be OR. Okay, so if it's either of these two cars, car make is equal to Mercedes, then so this saves me like a whole big, workflow action over here. Okay, so I'm going to change this to a Ford, and the Ford is going to be 999. 1999. Okay, and then so I don't think I have a Honda in the list.
What do you have on list? Just put that name.
Right, that's what I'm gonna do. So and then finally, if
While you're doing this, question is, so this is let's say you're in a real work environment, and then and when
Check.
you're doing this,
Uh-huh.
and it's you have like 100 or 1,000 names. So when you're doing this conditions, putting this action, do you have to do it individually, or there's an easier way of doing this too?
4599.
Like
So here's the thing. Let's just go through that. So I don't have Hondas, and so I'm gonna make this as Ford, and this is going to be 1999 or 1999, and it's going to be Jaguar, which is going to be so if it's a Jaguar, then it's going to be 4499. Okay, so this is really how the condition is. Okay, so if you take a look at it, go back and take a look at it again, then this is how I have it. Okay, it starts right from here. So if it's a Lamborghini, then this is the price. If it's a BMW or a Mercedes, then this is the price. If it's any of these, then this is the price. If it's any of these, then this is the price. Okay, this is really how it works, right? So my question over here is that, so far so good. So to handle cars, to make sure that I handle even those cars which do not exist in the system while I'm developing this workflow, I'm going to add a new logic over here. I just entered a new variable over here by the name car serviced, and so this variable is pretty much going to be true every single time it gets to a car which the shop services. Okay, so we know that we service Lamborghinis, and then so actually, you know what, I'm just gonna copy this and then paste it all over here, here, here. Okay, so which means that if it's one of these cars, if it's any of these cars, okay, that the shop services, then I know that the variable is going to be set to be true. Okay, so in here I'm going to check if serviced is equal to false. No, sorry, is equal to no, which is, so here's the thing, hear me out. In the beginning, when the program starts, I'm gonna have the value of car service set to no. Okay, so let's just say that it's a Honda that the user has chosen. Okay, so the first thing is that this is how the program runs. It's gonna log in this history first, then it goes to this line, and then it's gonna see if variable car service is then it actually sets the car service to no. Okay, to start with, it's just setting variables. It's just initializing the program. Okay, so it's just saying that I'm going to set this variable to no in the beginning. Okay, and then after that, it sees if the car make is Lamborghini, and let's just say that the user's entered Honda. Okay, is it Honda? No. Then it's gonna jump over here. Is it Honda? No. Is it Honda? No. Is it Honda? No. So finally it comes over here and then it says, hey, is the car service variable still equal to no? Yes. Because the thing is that it really hasn't gotten any of these blocks over here. Okay. So in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and write down this condition, which is actually I'm gonna go ahead and write down.
So, so
Hold on one second. Let me get done with this. So I'm gonna set the variable all change. I'm gonna set the variable all change price to what, like $300 or $199.99. Okay, and plus I'm gonna log a workflow action over here, which is going to be evaluate price, oil change price. Okay, so the first stage, that's all it does. The second stage, it's actually going to be doing a little more, which is update list and workflow. Okay, so over here I'm going to add another condition here, which is going to be if all change price, sorry, my bad, not this, but if car serviced is equal to yes, then I'm just gonna log to history saying that it is get the name of the car make, and we service these cars. Okay, the evaluated oil change price is, it's stored in the variable. Remember, we dumped that in the variable. Is this okay? And if not, if car serviced is equal to no, then it means that this is logged to history, and it is oh sorry, and we don't service this car, so setting the price of oil change to what do we set it to? Is stored in the variable oil change cost. Okay, and then finally I'm gonna add another step over here, which is going to be I'm gonna add another step over here, which is going to be this is just going to be set field in current item. The field is going to be description. Oh, you know what? We made that as a we made that as a currency, and for some reason it does not really like currencies. So I'm just gonna delete this again, or just make it as number instead of currency. So I need to refresh this. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this first, and then I'm gonna refresh this. Why don't we take it? So the only thing that I've done down at the bottom is over here is just updating the list. So finally we have a evaluated value, and then we just update the list with the evaluated value of the oil change. So let's go through this workflow again one last time. Okay. So these two are just, this is over here is just logging. Okay, I'm just initializing the workflow. I'm kickstarting the workflow, and at that time I need to make sure that I set the values of certain variables to, you know, like over here I'm just setting it to no. So the workflow is initializing over here. Now the value of this variable, which is car service, it gets set to yes only when it's one of those cars which the shop services. Okay, like over here. If it's a Lamborghini and then we service that, then it's a yes. If it's a BMW, which the auto shop services, then it's a yes. If it's a Ford, then yes. If it's a Jaguar, then yes. Okay. So, but here's the thing: if it's not set to yes while it goes through, and please always remember that the program execution walks line by line from the top to the bottom. Okay, that's a program execution. That means that that's how the code, that's how this workflow is executed by SharePoint. You know, it goes sequential, line after line after line after line. It's almost like reading it. Okay, so by the time it comes down over here and it sees that the car service is set to no, then it means that, you know, that the car which the user selected is now serviced by the shop. Okay, so once again, let's go back from the top. So over here, if the car service is Lamborghini, then I'm saying that yes, we service it, yes. Okay, and also other than that, I'm setting another variable, and I'm setting the price of the oil change over here. So in this second variable, I'm setting the price change variable to $3.99. Okay. Also, I mean, over here I could just have directly updated the list with $3.99. I could have done that. I could have directly updated the list column, which is oil change price, right over here itself. I could have done that. I could have done that over here as well. I could have done that over here as well. But then what I'm trying to write down is I'm trying to write the code or write this workflow with best practices, which is I want to go ahead and gather all the do the whole evaluation in one step, and that's the reason I call this step as evaluate oil change. I'm not updating the list over here. I'm not. I'm just evaluating the value over here. Okay, and then all the way down to the bottom, when I'm done with everything, that's when I'm updating the list. Okay, so I write down once instead of writing this like 10 times. I'm just writing this once. Okay, so let's go back again to the list up in the top. Evaluate oil change. Okay, so over here, again, if it's a Lamborghini, then I'm setting car service to yes, we service these cars. Okay, and also I'm saying that okay, the all price for this car would be $399, $399.99. Okay, the same thing over here. If it's a BMW or a Mercedes, then I'm setting the car service to yes, and I'm setting the oil change price to $99.99. Okay, so what I'm doing over here is that I'm doing twofold action over here. Number one, I'm saying that I'm marking that, hey, you know what, yes, we service this car. Number two, I'm also retrieving the value of the oil change and storing that in a variable. Okay, I'm doing two things at the same time. Okay, so that happens for every single car, and down at the bottom over here is where I'm actually checking if it's one of those cars. If it's not any of those cars which are mentioned above, okay, then the car service would be set to no. And if it's serviced to no, then in that case, I'm setting the oil change price to $199.99. Okay, so far till here, I evaluated the price of the oil change. That's all I did. I have not updated the list yet. I have just evaluated it. In the second stage over here, I'm actually writing down log to history list. So I'm just for for audit purposes, for logging purposes, I'm just logging these values to the workflow history list. So over here I'm saying that if the car service is equal to yes, then write down this message. If the car service is equal to no, then write down this message. And all the way in the bottom is where, in just one single step over here, is when I'm just updating the oil change in the list to the value that I've evaluated. So keep in mind that even though I have written this variable like 1, I'm setting the price of this variable like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? But since this is an if condition, it's only one car at a time, right? So only one block of if will be executed no matter what. So the program's gonna, so let's just imitate the program, okay? So the program's, the execution is gonna come over here, and then it's actually gonna log to history. Number 2, it's gonna set the variable car service to no. Number 3, it's gonna come over here. So let's just say that the user has entered a Honda, okay? It's gonna come over here, and then it's gonna see, hey, is this car Honda? No. So it's not even gonna go in here. It is not. That's a behavior of an if statement. It does not execute what is mentioned within the if block unless the condition has been satisfied. The condition is not satisfied, it does not even go to these two lines. It just jumps over to this line over here. Is it a Honda? No. Is it a Mercedes? No. It then jumps over here. Is it a Ford? No. And then jumps again over here. Is it a Jaguar? No. Okay, so over here, I'm not comparing cars anymore. I'm actually checking if what is the value of car serviced variable. If it was any of these cars up in the above, then it would have been yes. Since it did not meet any of these blocks, it did not go in execution of any of these blocks, the car service value is set to no, right? Up in the top. That's what you do the first thing. You set it to no first, and then if any of these conditions are met, then that's when you set it to yes, right? So by the time the execution is in this line over here, the car service value is equal to no. And then over here, I'm actually looking at oil change price. In this case, so this is the only condition which is met. So as soon as this if condition is met, it goes within this if conditions block over here and then executes this line. So oil change price is equal to $199.99. So it says, okay, you know what? So even though I have mentioned the oil change price, I'm setting the oil change price like 5 different times, but this is the only time where it's actually being set. So again, even though I'm setting this, I'm actually writing code to set the value of oil change price like 5 different times, but really over here is where the value is being really set by the program. In other places, in other blocks above, the code does not, the program execution does not even execute this line of code. Okay, if it does not execute that line of code, then it's almost like, you know, it never happened. It's only over here where oil change price is equal to $199.99, and right after that it goes over to transition to stage, which brings it over here, log to history list, and then over here it says, hey, is the car service equal to yes? No, it's not. You know, we don't service this car. So it comes over here and then it logs it, and then it goes over to the next stage, which is update list, which is this block over here, and then finally it updates the price in the oil change to the value evaluated. Okay, so let's go ahead and publish this. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm just gonna set the trigger. Oh, trigger's already set. Cool.
Last time.
From the last time, you're right. Okay. Let's see what happens now. It's going to be okay, Lamborghini. Don't save. And then you don't save. Let the workflow run. And then Mercedes, save. And then Honda, save. And then Toyota, save. finally, now it's 2018. Okay, so there's this really smart developer who come, smart business user, and he says that, hey, you know what? We added all these new lines of cars. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add.
allow failure choice.
Say again.
Allow failure choice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go in here and then I'm gonna say Hyundai, and then Subaru. Okay, and then I hit on OK.
Any car
Otherwise,
else?
we
You
can.
can put any car else.
No, but I wanna. I'm in 2018 right now. I'm time traveling. Okay, I hit on day. So now I wanna sit down and evaluate my logic. Okay, what happens over here? So hit on the whole thing. Tick 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 tick. On the whole thing. Okay, and look at that. Okay, so what I have over here is this is perfect. Okay, um, so what I have over here is Lamborghini $400, 39999. Okay, BMW 9999, Mercedes 9999, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, and even the car from the future that I didn't have when the programmer did this. It's all 19999, right?
But not in this list. So we can put select allow fill-in choice in choice column. So user can manually add.
You can
a
Yeah,
select
column.
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But hold on. So yeah, so let's go back and take a look at this update list, okay? And then the status list, and take a look at what is happening behind the scenes. Okay, why did it evaluate to 199.99? Okay, so user entered Hyundai, which is good, and then it's a Hyundai, and we don't service this car, so setting the price of all change to 199.99, which is good. Okay, if I
You're
don't have
making
that,
an exception and doing it.
say again.
So if it's not in the list, basically you're making an exception and doing it.
Right, right. So if I didn't handle it with a variable, with a boolean variable as yes and no, then it would really just completely ignore that. Okay. So then over here, this is a Lamborghini. It's a Lamborghini, and we service we service these cars. The evaluated all change price is 39999. Okay, which is good. All right. So does that make sense?